This is the 13th episode of Alexander the Great. If you enjoy it, please subscribe and don't forget to watch the previous episodes as well. Alexander the Great, clad in his signature plumed helmet and red cape, riding at the head of his army as they march into Egypt. Unlike previous conquests, Egypt did not resist his rule. Egypt was just one of many territories claimed by Alexander from the Persian Empire. The Persian satrap surrendered without a fight, and Alexander was welcomed as a liberator. The Egyptian people, long resentful of Persian rule, saw him as a divinely favored king. The vast desert landscape stretches ahead, with the Nile River in the distance. Egyptian locals watch as the Macedonian forces arrive. A dramatic desert scene showing Alexander and a small retinue crossing the vast sands of the western desert on horseback and camel, heading toward the Siwa oasis. One of the most significant moments of his time in Egypt was his journey to the Siwa oasis. Braving the harsh desert, Alexander sought the oracle of Amun, an Egyptian god often associated with Zeus. The oracle declared him the son of Amun, reinforcing his divine right to rule. After his visit to Siwa, Alexander returned to Memphis, where he was formally presented in the Temple of Ptah. Inside the Grand Temple of Ptah at Memphis, Alexander is crowned pharaoh with the traditional double crown of Egypt by Egyptian priests, surrounded by local dignitaries and Macedonian generals. Unlike previous foreign rulers, his absence from the land for much of his reign did not seem to concern the Egyptian people. He had gained their acceptance, not just as a conqueror, but as a legitimate ruler. Egyptian artisans and laborers working on restoring crumbling temple structures, overseen by Macedonian officials. Alexander inspects the work. Alexander demonstrated respect for Egyptian culture and traditions. He restored temples that had been neglected under Persian rule, and commissioned new monuments dedicated to the Egyptian gods. At Luxor, near Karnak, he ordered the construction of a chapel for the sacred barge of Amun, ensuring his place within the religious framework of Egypt. Alexander seated at a table with Greek and Egyptian officials, discussing governance reforms. In the background, Macedonian soldiers train Egyptian recruits. Beyond religious patronage, Alexander introduced administrative reforms based on Greek models. He reorganized the taxation system, making it more efficient, and established a military presence to maintain order. His rule was brief but impactful, leaving Egypt more structured and integrated into his growing empire. Despite his short stay, Alexander left a lasting imprint on Egypt. But his ambitions stretched far beyond the Nile. In early 331 BC, Alexander and his army marching out of Egypt, banners flying, as they set their sights on Persia. He departed Egypt, leading his forces back into Asia in pursuit of the Persian king. Determined to claim the rest of the empire as his own, Egyptian priests and local leaders bid him farewell. The march of conquest continued.